Everyone, making compelling NPCs is always a challenge. It takes a lot of work, takes a lot of thought, and you know, what's going on in their head and where are they coming from? All great questions. So let's talk about just a set of questions that you can ask yourself in this kind of short video.
He's just a murder hobo, min-maxing on his sheet. She's just a murder hobo, munchkin.
Hi, it's Carl with Tabletop Tango. Look at the bubbles, do the stuff. Love your support. Check out the website. If you throw us cash, it's going to go for Savage World stuff so we can talk about it. If you're looking for a podcast, check out Mastering the RPG. It's a podcast I do with Eric and a professional DM, James, and a lot of good information there as well. So what do I want to talk about? So I want to talk about, as you're building out your NPC, there's a set of questions you can ask yourself. And those questions can help you lead to an interesting NPC with its own characteristics, its own thoughts, its own the way it does things. So this is not, I wouldn't say, something unique. It's not something I invented, right? Questions aren't something I invented, but this is some of the things that just go through my head. So the first thing is, what do they do in the world, right? What makes them interact with the world? Why are they here, right? So what's their job? So do they, you know, are they a city guard and they guard the city? Are they a bartender and they tend the bar? Are they a nobleman who spends their days in the wilderness hunting foxes? What is it that they are in the world? Because that will affect their attitude and it'll affect how they interact with the rest of the world, right? Second thing is the one that everybody talks about, right, is what do they want, right? There's something that they desire that's important to them. So, you know, this city guard, what's important to them is to, you know, could be one of them to stop crime. And he's, you know, that's his, you know, his dad was a city guard, his great-grandfather was a city guard, and he's a city guard, and he's there to stop the bad people. Another city guard member might be, well, his whole goal is to do the least as he can, get paid, and go home to his family safe and sound. Why is that important to think about that goal? Was those two city guards are city guards, but they both will react to the players in a completely different way. And if they're together, it's going to be, you know, interesting, right? So, you know, so you got the guy, I only got 2 weeks before I get my pension, and another wild guy, right? I wonder where we heard that before. So important question to ask. And then the next question, which is one I really didn't think about until I saw it in another video, and I think it was, you know, how to be a great GM. He was talking about some concepts behind this. How important is it to them, right? So they want something, but the importance of what they want will drive their behavior, right? They will go to the nth degree if it's super important to them. If it's an important desire, but it's not that big of a deal, then they may react differently, and the way they work with the players may be different. It may allow the players have their persuasion rolls, maybe more, get a bonus. Their other things that they interact with might be negative because this person is really gung-ho on what they were trying to do. They're like, well, they're just crazy, and so they just will not listen, and that'll give a penalty. The reason this is important is if you understand how important something is, you can understand how far the personality will be one-dimensional, I think. So our city guards, right? One of them, dad was a city guard, he's a city guard. It may be really, really important to him to stop crime. So he is going to pursue the characters once they get away. He's going to make sure that people are brought to justice, and he's just going to follow them and do that. The other city guard, more worried about getting home. If the players bribe this person or they say, hey, you know, we're tougher than you, we can take you out, but we're willing to let you go, he's going to say, okay, let me go. I'm fine. I'm done. So the way the players interact with each of these personalities will be important based on what that player NPC, how they think of the importance of what they're trying to do or what they're trying to get their goal. Then the next one is kind of now we're talking about the feels, right? Everybody's got feelings about things. So how does this person feel about their lot in life? You can say the world if you want, but it's really kind of their lot in life. So the one whose father was one and he's one, he may have an attitude that the world is a great place because he gets to do what he loves, and that attitude shines through. Someone else might have a different attitude towards the world, or they're a different feeling like the world is unfair and, you know, everybody's against you and there's no reason to ever be nice to people because they're just going to backstab you. That person's going to interact again with the NPCs and have an interesting character way of thinking. Just think of your bad guys, right? When not all bad guys are just raw evil. We've seen lots of times in, you know, movies, TV, that sort of thing, where a bad guy or girl, they have a mission because they perceive unfairness in the world, and they're focused on solving that crisis that they perceive. And so that changes potentially how a player perceives them, how they're going to interact with the players. They may not just go out to kill them outright. They may try to convince them to come to their way of thinking. Like I said with the city guard, one may let them go quickly, one may pursue them to the ends of the earth. And then with all that in mind, so those are the key questions, right? So what do they do in the world? What do they want from the world, or what do they want? How important is this thing that they want? What is their feelings towards their lot in life, or the world, or the situation, or even what they want? How do they feel about what they want? And then, you know, so is there something that can help us? Well, yes, there is. There's lots of online generators for personalities and stuff like that. Even the Lazy GM Companion has a little rollable table you can say and get personality traits, and you can use those. I would say you don't really need them. If once you walk through that part, you'll start kind of getting where they come from. And then the last thing I'll throw in there as kind of a bonus is I heard this on Happy Jack's RPG once, and actually they were answering a question I sent in, was how do I bring, once I know all this, how do I bring them to life? And one of they said is, what kind of animal is it? So, right? So if you've got something that's, you know, got this attitude of the world that, you know, it's unfair and they're going to take it down and they're angry about it, maybe there's an animal that represents that from a personality standpoint. Maybe it's an alligator. So how would an alligator be as an NPC, and how would you represent that? So now you've got that feeling in mind, and that might drive how you speak, that might drive how you know, your hands and all that sort of thing. So now you've got another extra little thing that you can build into what makes an NPC interesting. So I thought that was a pretty cool concept when they mentioned that. I guess it's an acting thing, but I'm not an actor, so I wouldn't know. So anyway, good stuff. That's how I do it. What do they want? Why do they want it? What do they do? How important it is, what they want, and how do they think about their lot in life, the world, whatever, and then all that drives kind of a personality, and how you show that personality in the world, maybe you think about an animal. Anyway, I'm Carl with the Tabletop Tango. Look at the bubbles, do the stuff. We'd love your support, and check out Mastering the RPG, a podcast on general RPG cool stuff. And that's that. Thanks much.
He's just a murder hobo, min-maxing on his sheep. She's just a murder hobo, munchkin in the streets. A game of political intrigue.